What is up, good people of the GrayScale? Tim here on a Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it is time for 10 Minutes with Tim, where I give you 10 minutes worth of my 2 cents. I want to talk tonight a little bit about, what's the word? Unnecessary stigmas on things, I guess. So, like, this is what I was thinking about. I talked a couple weeks ago, or maybe one day last, I don't know. I talked sometime recently about how we have gone to this new paradigm of people having to move out of the house when they turn 18, right? Like, it's the big thing to, like, get away from your parents, and how in fact it would actually be much more beneficial to everyone involved if you actually stayed with your parents or stayed close to your parents until you were ready to start your own family, and not just go out on your own and take on the debt that goes along with apartments and living by yourself. Unless, of course, you have the financial means to do that and you want to. But don't do it because that's what you think you're supposed to do, right? What's up, Ryan Doyle? Because it's just a financial, and it's an unnecessary financial burden. In addition to that, I want to talk a little bit tonight, expand on that a little bit, and bring it around to, like, if you are a business-minded person or you have an idea for like an app or a video game or whatever, right? And your dream is to build that thing. You should do everything in your power to live as cheap as you can in order to make that happen. And you shouldn't listen to what society says about what you're supposed to do, right? How you're supposed to move out and you're supposed to get a job. If you're 20 years old and you think you have an idea for something that could possibly be big or could just possibly pay your bills when you turn 30, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be the next $1 billion business. It could be the next $100,000 a year business, and that would be perfectly fine for most people. You should eat shit, right? Like, you should live as slummy as possible in order to make that happen and not worry about what the rest of the world thinks about that. If that means you have to live in your parents' basement through your 20s and eat ramen noodles or eat what your parents cook, you eat the leftovers or whatever, right? Then do that. And then if it doesn't work, you're still only 30. Like, you could go get a job. You can go and get a job at any point in your life. There's no sense in rushing out there and trying to find that 9 to 5 that's going to make you miserable for the rest of your life if you're 23 years old. Yeah, Doyle, you definitely had a different situation than a lot of people. Yeah, you were kind of forced to grow up as soon as all that stuff happened, for sure. And I wish someone would have told me that, but I really didn't. I really didn't jump out there and like be like, I've got to get I've got to get a job at a corporation and I've got to do this. I did that. I went and got a job with a corporation. But when it got to the point where I was unhappy in that job, I I left. I left that job and I started my own business. Um, I also went back to that same company at some point when my business didn't work out. And then I started another business and I quit that job again. And then I went back to that job when that business didn't work out. So my point is in telling you that I literally went back to work at the same company 3 times because businesses that I started and I thought were going to be able to take care of me didn't. And so I had to go back and get a job again. You can do that. You can literally quit your job today or start a side hustle today, right? Baseball cards are coming back. That's a big thing. Sports cards are huge right now. You could get back into sports cards and really learn about them and start flipping them and do that as a side hustle. There's always the building things and selling it side hustle. Washing cars, detailing cars. You can do that in the evenings, right? You have somebody drop their car off to you at 6 o'clock when you get home and you detail it and they pick it up in the morning, right? Like those are things that you can do that a person can do outside of their quote unquote 9 to 5. And when that thing becomes to the point where it's making you more money or even less money, but you can still live off of it, there's a lot to be said for somebody that is currently making, let's say somebody's making $80,000 a year at their job, and they decide to start building tables, and they sell a table a month and make. Well, they probably have to sell more like a table a week. Let's say they sell a table a week and make $1,000 off of each one. They make $52,000 in a year. That's less than the $80,000 that they were making at their job, but they might be able to live off of that and not have to be under the stress of that job, right? So if you can find a side hustle where you can make enough, it doesn't have to be the same. It could just be enough for you to live off of that you can leave that job that you hate. Man, it's well worth it. And like, that could be anything, man. Like, you could be painting stuff and selling it, like anything. There's so many things out there that you can do. Flipping is huge. Going to a yard sale on Saturday and finding some Beanie Babies and then taking them home and listing them all on Facebook Marketplace on Sunday and selling them for $5 when you paid 50 cents a piece for them. Magazines are an interesting deal. You can go to a yard sale and buy a whole box of magazines for $5 and then go list them all on eBay, National Geographic or something. You go list them all on eBay for $3 a piece and you make a crap ton of money, right? So flipping is a huge thing that you can do in your spare time that doesn't take a lot of extra time, but you can make good money at it and maybe get out of that job that you hate. And, there's a lot to be said for people doing that kind of thing out there. So I just encourage people to look into those types of things and see if you can find something that you want to do and get after it, man. So that has been my 10 minutes. Get out there, do some stuff. You don't have to do that job you hate. You can find something that'll make you some money that you can do in your spare time and still be prosperous and still be able to take care of your family and all that sort of stuff. Hey, Doyle, I love you too, man. I really like to get out there and see you sometime. It'd be cool to come out west and hang out. So be looking for that. One day I'm going to come past the Mississippi River. All right. That's 10 Minutes with Tim, where I give you 10 minutes worth of my 2 cents. The GrayScale is going black.